money.
Hey all, I'm Dan Luce, and I'm a bowler. I've been a league bowler for many, many years, and I've just embarked on bowling in PBA regionals. Now, I've only bowled 3 games a week, 1 league a week for the last 25 years. Average about 225, 230, so I'm a good bowler, but my kids have wanted to see how I can compare to the PBA guys. So I decided to start bowling some PBA regionals and try it out. Been practicing this summer. I've bowled 3 regionals in the past 2 months, cashed in 1, finished 22nd out of 100 in San Antonio, and I'm gonna bowl a regional this weekend in Houston. We had the practice session today. I'm primarily using a hammer hazmat, a solid dull ball there, and I throw a little bit of a low roll, and I'm not a huge cranker, probably a medium rev player and a low roll, so a little bit of a spinner, but I play a bit straighter than others do. So we're gonna see how this weekend goes. I wanna bring you along on this PBA regional journey. It's a ton of fun. I'm having a blast while I do it. I'd love to win a title. That seems a little ways away. I have no illusion that I'll ever be on the tour. That's not going to happen, so I'm not pretending that. But I'd love to win a title, and I'm going to just see how well I can do. Love for you to join me. We'll have a lot of fun doing it. All right, Saturday night, 8 games of qualifying in the books. The squad started at 10 a.m., so we got to the bowling alley about 9, a little bit after 9 o'clock, got settled in. 88 bowlers. Turns out one person didn't show up, and that was on our pair, so we only had 4 bowlers on our pair. Most pairs had 5. But my plan as of yesterday's practice session was to use my hazmat, play around 17, and that is where I played. First game, shot 225, started with the front 4, plenty happy with that, but left a 9-pin in the 7th frame at one point, missed it, so that was kind of frustrating, but managed to finish, like I said, with 225. Did get lucky on a couple of those early strikes, but you know, everybody does, so I don't apologize for it. Game 2, 197. Had 1 open frame in game 2. It was a 3-6-9-10 that I chopped. After 2 games, I was sitting in 15th place at plus 22. Game 3 came back, shot 234, and that's after starting with 3 straight spares. Obviously struck a lot, I was clean. Happy with that 234. That moved me up quite a few spots to 5th place. So I was in 5th place after 3 games. Game 4, threw the ball right where I wanted in the first frame, left a Greek church. So obviously the pair was hooking a bit more than previously, and that was I think it was my low game of the day, shot 168 with 2 opens. Just couldn't get a double. I think I had 2 strikes total, 168. Game 5 came back with a 245, started with 3 in a row, ended up with 9 strikes, 245. So game 5 I moved quite a bit up the leaderboard. Didn't see where I was. I think I was in 6th at that point. Game 6 was one of those games I wanted to forget. Shot 169 with 3 opens. I missed a 10-pin. Threw 1 ball out the window, got a 3 count on a spare. Did pick up the spare. So really I was actually not unhappy with the 169, the way the game was going. And at that point I sat in 10th place at plus 38, and the leader was at plus 102. Game 7 started out ominously, but I was 37 after 3 frames. Then I reeled off 5 strikes in a row and finished with a 213. So I was very happy to have salvaged actually a decent game out of what started out to be terrible. Then in the 8th game, had 1 open for 185. The 1 open was another self-inflicted error. I shot 185, but I knew I was pretty solidly inside the cut line. 29 people made the cut. So here we are. I'm sitting in 10th place at plus 36. The leader's at plus 128. Then the cashier's round tomorrow starts at 8:30. Roll call's at 8. I'll get there probably about 7:30. And the format is we've got the 29 bowlers. We're going to bowl 5 more games, add the total to today's 8, and then the top 8 advance. So I need to move up a couple of spots. And then at that point, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7 in best of 3 matches, cut down to 4. Another best of 3 match, cut down to 2, and then a single game championship match. So I feel like I could have put myself in a much better position, but I am definitely satisfied that I'm sitting in 10th, and hopefully tomorrow starts the way today did. My goal was to get to the bowling alley about 7:30. It's kind of nice walking into the bowling alley and the place is completely empty because it's reserved just for the tournament. We had 29 bowlers that made the cut, but just had a feeling of suspense walking into the bowling alley. A lot of fun.
After your 13-game total, we'll cut to the top 8. There's a 5, 8, and 9 that would be a 1-game roll-off.
It was an inauspicious start when I left at 2, 4, 8, 10 in the first. Of course, I missed that. Picked up the baby split in the 4th. Had another split open in the 7th frame, but I managed to strike out from the 8th on and salvage a 204 out of it. So I was actually quite pleased with the 204, especially considering that scores were so low. The cut was minus 50 at number 29, so scores were low. Game 2, of course, switched lanes. Had 1 open frame here, but managed to throw 6 of the last 7 strikes for a 215. So once again, started off poorly, but managed to salvage a decent game out of it. So at this point, I was inside the cut line at number 8. Game 3 was a little bit of a downer. Opened in the 10th frame after having a double going into the 10th. And only shot 185, but I had a potential for 220, so that was kind of a downer. But with scores being low, 185 wasn't a killer. So then game 4 started with a double, couple spares, another double, couple of spares. Ended up shooting a clean 216. And I was inside the cut line after game 3, but I moved down to 9th after that 216, which was a little surprising, but I knew that the scores must be getting bunched up there. So in game 5, I know that it is coming down to the wire. I'm right on the cut line, single-digit pins outside the cut. One person had just shot 250, 260 to jump me, and that's why I was down in the 9th. So I start with a 210 split, which was disappointing to say the least, but I threw a perfect shot, I thought, at the spare. 2-pin slides in front of the 10, wraps around it. Spares in the next 2 frames, double, 4th and 5th. Another 2, 4, 8, 10 in the 8th, and these 2 lanes, this was the only pair all weekend where the left lane, where one lane was hooking way more than the other, and it just took me too long to get that dialed in. Spare in the 9th, needed all the pins I could get in the 10th, just went strike spare, shot 178, ended up missing out on the cut by 7 pins, so I finished 9th, needed 7 more pins, so whether that 210 split goes or any of the single pin misses from the day before, it all would have mattered, but finished 9th. All in all, I was thrilled with a 9th place finish, despite being disappointed that I didn't do better. But I can't wait for the next tournament. Probably going to bowl 3 weeks from now in Arkansas. I'm going to film some more videos, try to make this fun, try to make this interesting, bring you along. And thanks for watching. See you next time.